Hello and welcome to part one of what I plan on being a very long series where I start trying to platform levels that I believe should be rated. Now, this series is not meant to shit on the rate standards or anything like that. This is meant to be a positive series, and just before we even get into any of this, I want you to keep in mind that the rate standards being bad is not the only reason a level can go unrated. It can be anything from the level going unnoticed to a lack of victors. There are many reasons a level might be unrated, and just because I want the level to be rated doesn't mean you should go and harass the GD mods and beg them to rate the level. Do not do what people did with Tidal Wave, please. I do not want to cause that. The point of this series, and what this series is going to be, is mainly just trying to platform and give attention to some levels that I feel haven't been platformed enough, and levels that just in general don't seem like they've gotten enough attention. I genuinely think any level listed in this series should be rated, and the way it's going to work is every single episode is going to go from the ones that I think are the most likely to get rated to least likely to get rated, and that's still very opinion-based, so take that with a grain of salt. That being said, I have a couple rules for this. First of all, I'm going to give myself a maximum of 2 Circles levels per list. If I didn't do that, then every single level on the list would be a Circles level. I'm probably just going to make an entire episode of this series dedicated to Circles levels that should be rated, I'll be totally honest, but that's for a later date. One final thing I want to set as a rule for this series is that levels that I talk about in this series are going to be at least a month old. I don't want a level to come out and then a week later put it into the series and say it should be rated, because that's not enough time, and levels usually do get rated. It took Limbo a little while to get rated, so, you know. Level has to be out for at least a month, and yeah. So starting us off at the number 10 spot, we have Red Room by Angel669. I think this is the most obvious level to include in this series. Now, there are 2 reasons people have given to why this level might not be rated, and I'm also going to throw in a third that I thought of. So, the first reason might be that the song is too explicit. The second reason I've seen people throw around is that it was made on the 2.2 private server before 2.2 released. And, of course, the final reason, and the one I'm throwing in, is that it abuses shaders. So, to the abusing shaders thing, I just like to throw that theory out there, because I know Rob has explicitly said levels that throw in just a bunch of shaders and abuse them aren't going to get rated. But that being said, I don't feel this level uses them as distastefully as a lot of people say, and even if you do think it does, there's a switch at the beginning of the level to disable shaders, so, like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. As for the song being too explicit, there's worse in rated levels, and of course another potential reason people have given for this level not getting rated is that it was made on a 2.2 private server before the update released on a leaked copy of the game. But I don't buy that. I don't think that's why it's not rated either, because In the Castle is rated, and that was literally the same situation, so I don't know. As for the level itself, I think it's great. And yeah, it's a hell level, but it's easily one of the most creative hell levels we've seen, which is saying a lot considering how much ground there is to cover with that whole rabbit hole of a topic. And yeah, I think this is one of the best hell levels. Not only are the visuals really good, but I have to appreciate the fact that it's not a generic red and black glow level, it's an actual hell level with hell-related imagery. I really like the focus on these weird, almost tentacle creatures. I don't really know what to call them. Honestly, visually, this level reminds me a lot of a game called Ultra Kill, which is kind of like a Doom-style game. I genuinely think this level does a lot right. I think the song representation is really good, and knowing that this level basically existed just to show what the update was capable of, it's amazing that this is one of the better 2.2 levels even today, knowing that it literally served the purpose of just showing what the update could do before it came out. And I really think it's sad that this level isn't rated, and I definitely want to advocate for its rate. Next up I have 1052 Step. Now, I'm not familiar with the creator of this level, and I definitely think now that I am, I need to look into more of their stuff, because this level slaps. This level was actually recommended to me by a friend of mine named Sky the Fen, And I'm really glad that they pointed this level out to me because, yeah, this is an absolute masterpiece. It was made in the 1.9 private server, and honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. It's all, first of all, I give 1.9 levels a lot of bullshit because I always view building in the 1.9 editor as just sort of an arbitrary restriction and nothing more, and a lot of levels seem to suffer because they're made in 1.9. This level, that's not the case. It feels like they took the artistic limitation and actually rolled with it. And yeah, this level does a lot right. I like that it uses the colors in a way that makes it look like you're sort of peering into different chunks of a level, almost as if this is a sort of level compilation. It, oddly enough, reminds me of Why Me by TMN. It's really interesting, and it's really cool to see someone pull off something like that in 1.9. And then, of course, you have the duel part, which is kind of hard to explain, but it kind of looks like a duel, but it's not. You're just teleporting using the 1.9 slope thing, and I think that that's really cool. And then, of course, you have stuff like the ball part, and just, in general, this level's really cool. And I definitely think it's, basically, if you took the Cerzia style and improved it by a fuck ton. And that's saying a lot, because Cerzia's style is already pretty good. Next up, I have Chaos by Pastel Pink. This is a really hard level to review. It's a very epileptic and flashy level, and put it this way, it kind of comes across similar to Event level, but this level is just, in general, very impressive, and while I can't really tell what's going on in terms of the gameplay even after botting it, I think visually this level is already impressive enough to where I don't even really need to say much to justify the rate. It's very inspired by Lithofusion style, specifically with levels like Requiem, and I also see a little bit of inspiration from stuff like Out of Chaos in this, and it's definitely pretty inspiration heavy, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. A lot of creators like to wear their inspiration on their sleeves, and I definitely think that this level does that in a way that's not too intrusive. Like, you can obviously tell what the inspiration is, but you don't really get the vibe that the level's just ripping off Requiem. You just get the vibe that it's a heavy form of inspiration. I definitely think that the gameplay might be a little confusing and might be a turnoff for some people, but I don't think that matters too much in this specific case. This level blew me away when I first saw it, and I definitely think for one of the first big levels that they've made, this is a really good level, and Pastel Pink is, in general, a creator that more people should pay attention to, in my opinion. Next up, we have Stellar Night, which I believe to be an absolute masterpiece. This is an Iced Cave level, and so giving it attention probably isn't the thing I'm doing here. However, I just want to really talk about how weird it is that this one specifically isn't rated, and out of every level in this list that shocks me the most that it's not rated, it's Red Room, but second close to that would probably be this. I really don't get why Stellar Night isn't rated, because it is just amazing. It's got S-tier deco, it's very simplistic, almost playing into the 1.9 style, again, kind of reminding me of a Cerzia level, but this one is really good, and I think it uses a really interesting blend of colors on its block design. The song is also really good. Yes, it has a Nong, but unlike most cases, I don't think the Nong should actually matter here, because the replacement song is just as good, if not better, for the level. It fits the level perfectly, and yeah, I just don't see why this one isn't rated. I definitely think it should be. Though, maybe it's because the deco is very simplistic, I don't know. I guess at most, like, as much as I want it rated in its current state, Iced Cave, on some very bizarre, odd chance you're watching this, maybe you should give this, like, a deco upgrade, you know, just add stuff to it, I don't really know, but I think this level's good as is and definitely deserves a rate. So the next one I have here, and this is where I gotta emphasize that this is where I start to acknowledge, okay, I can kind of see what it, like, there's probably a reason this isn't rated, and I can see it, but I still think it should be rated despite that, so I'm going to point the levels out. And so just know that, like, if you disagree with whether or not these levels should be rated, that's totally fine. I just want to point them out because I think these levels are good. And starting off, I have C Sharp. This is an unrated 9 Circles level, and realistically, I've known about this level for a long time. It's been on the bonus part of my 9 Circles list for a while, and Originally, I was indifferent to whether or not it should be rated, because it had a verification, no victors, and on top of that, you look at the way it looks, and it's just okay, right? It's a just okay Circles level. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just okay. But now, recently, WizKid went and beat it, and so it has a victor, and I think this would definitely be a good time to sort of look back on the level and just retroactively rate it because, well, now it has a victor. And the level definitely doesn't look bad, it's not a terrible level. It's okay, and I definitely don't think it would hurt to rate it because I think it's pretty good. Next, I have Fried Egg by Dark Cacti. Now, there are a lot of things going against this level getting rated, unfortunately. There are some skips in the gameplay, it uses a Nong, and on top of that, it doesn't really have the greatest replacement song, in my opinion. On top of all of that, the decoration style is mostly 1.0 stuff. However, it has that, you know, signature Dark Cacti, cluttered, chaotic, messy style that everyone either loves or hates. I personally love it. This level definitely doesn't seem like Dark Cacti's best level. However, it always stood out to me because where this level really shines, in my opinion, is its gameplay. The decoration is already good, like justifiable. You can definitely accept this decoration if it's rated, but I really, really want to hit home how good this level's gameplay is. I could totally understand if this level doesn't get a rate. Like I said, there's a lot of things going against its rate, but I think that it is a masterpiece of a level just off gameplay alone. It plays really well. It's definitely very awkward gameplay, and it's not for everyone, so I could definitely see some people not enjoying this. But I beat this level, and I definitely have to say, it's a lot of fun. Next up, we have PunchDrunk by Xylonox. Now, there's a lot of stuff you could say goes against this level's rate. The gameplay's really repetitive, it uses a Nong, all that stuff, but I think this level looks really good, and a lot of people play it despite its unrate, even to this day, that it's clearly fun, and yes, it's technically a challenge level, but it is the length of a full level, and with how good this looks and how many people go for it, I see no reason PunchDrunk shouldn't get rated. I love the way the rainbows in the back were handled, and just in general, the decoration style, and I always love that sort of bait and switch from the beginning of the level to the rest of it, how it looks like a Xylonox core level, and then it just suddenly becomes the spam challenge. I think that that's really fun, and yeah, I definitely think that this one should get rated, and just off the fact that people enjoy it, plus the fact that the decoration is good. The next one I have on here is Panadol Vortex. So this is an Akuna-kun level. It is an Akuna-kun 9 circles level, and if any one of you know Akuna-kun, you know that he's the memory guy, so to speak, and so you're probably not sure what to expect from a 9 circles level by Akuna-kun, but I mean, you see it on screen, you probably already get it. All of the decoration and visuals are a lie. It's kind of like if Of Ambrosia was a Circles level. That's basically what this level's going for. And considering levels like Invisible Deadlocked, Manix, Of Ambrosia, and, you know, all those sort of invisible gameplay levels do get rated from time to time, I see no reason why Panadol Vortex should not get rated. I absolutely see this level as it should get rated. And if you ignore the weird gameplay gimmick, the visuals are really, really good. Like, for a Circles effect, I think this looks really good. I've had some people disagree with me on it, but it's just my opinion at the end of the day, and I definitely think this level, just off decoration alone, can definitely get a rate, in my opinion. Obviously, again, it's a Circles level, and RobTop's standards for rates on Circles levels are through the roof, way too fucking high, so I could see why it wouldn't get rated, but I don't know, I think this level's a really interesting piece, and it definitely would be cool to see this one get rated. So next up we have Grains of Sand. Again, Nong. Nong can usually be a factor as to why a level's not rated, and I honestly don't think I've ever heard the replacement song. All that being said, though, I do think this level should be rated. Now, I want to make a distinction here. I think the Star XD version should be rated since it's the original, not Harchock's version. And a lot of you might be coming into this thinking, wait, didn't Harchock cheat? And there are two things I have to say to that. Firstly, Harchock might have cheated, and it's likely that he did. However, that was never actually definitively proven. And on top of that, it doesn't matter anyway, because WizKid has completed the level, so even if Harchock was a cheater, that just means WizKid is the verifier. Regardless of how you slice it, both Grains of Sand versions have been verified, and I definitely think Star XD's should be rated, especially when you consider that, at least in my opinion, Star XD's is better. I never really liked the Harchock POC version, because the stars in the back always looked really jittery, and I was never a big fan of it. I do think that Star XD's is a big enough accomplishment to where this should get rated. I know the gameplay is really repetitive, and that's the point, and I know that the song is a nong, but you gotta consider that especially for when this level was made, it's a really impressive and really cool level, and I definitely would enjoy seeing this get rated. So for those of you who have been following my content very closely, or at the very least have been following me very closely for a while, you probably could predict what my final level listed in this video is going to be. It's Bloody Knuckles by Pinch-Peak, and this level I think is an absolute masterpiece and a very major underrated gem. This level is one of those levels that you could easily boil down the justification for why it should be rated to thinking space was rated, therefore this should get rated, but I think that's a dog shit argument, and so I'm not going to make that argument. What I am going to say is that this level was really, really, really cool when it came out, and I definitely think that it should be rated just for the legacy of the level alone. First of all, it has a lot of history, being one of those old Impossible 2.0 levels getting verified in the modern day thing, but with this level specifically, I especially think for 2.0, this level has a really interesting charm to it that's just hard to explain. I think if this level got rated, it would get rated for a similar reason to why Dance of the Violins got rated, you know, it being just really impressive for when it was made. The fact that this level got verified in general is just impressive in and of itself, and I think it wouldn't hurt to rate this level at all. Bloody Knuckles also has a lot of just really creative gameplay in it, and while I'm not really sure about the enjoyability rate, obviously I can't judge that with how hard this level is, I definitely think stuff like the UFO part is really creative, and even to this day, you don't see gameplay like this, and I definitely just think off creativity alone, it's worth a rate. And I think it's just, in general, really sad, because people are going for this, and seeing the level go unrated is just kind of sad, in my opinion, but yeah, Bloody Knuckles, I think, should absolutely get rated. And that was 10 levels that should be rated. If you would like to see me discuss more levels that should be rated in the future, just let me know. I'm definitely down to do it. I mainly wanted to do this series because, again, there's just a lot of levels that, in my opinion, don't get enough attention, and this level, or this group of levels, rather, definitely deserves at least more attention. Like, if not a rate, these levels deserve more eyes on them, because if the creators can make, you know, like, look at Pastel Pink, for example. If Pastel Pink can make Chaos, I'm sure they can make something way better than Chaos, you know what I mean? And I definitely think that, at the very least, if I can't push these levels enough to get them rated, I'm hoping at the very least I can get more eyes on the creator so that their future projects get rated. And yeah, I definitely just think that this is a cool series to start, and I hope you guys agree. All that being said, you know, YouTuber interaction reminder stuff, like, comment, subscribe, all that, and comment down below and tell me what you think of the levels that I listed. Are there any that you think should or shouldn't be rated? Do you have any levels you would have personally put on the list? And with all that being said, thank you for watching.